I'm Shivansh Singh. I'm a principal solution architect at AWS. I've been with AWS for around 9 years now. Have done multiple things, but now currently I'm focused on AI ML services, especially development focused, which is Amazon Q Developer. So today I'm going to talk about how generative AI is being looked at AWS and how do we think about generative AI at AWS. What is Amazon Q Developer? What are some of the key features of Amazon Q Developer? And then how do you actually use Amazon Q Developer to write secure code? And then how you can actually start today, right after the session, to start using Amazon Q Developer for free. So when it comes to generative AI, at AWS, we look at this as an entire stack, not just as a one service. At the very bottom of this layer, it's a 3-layer stack. So at the very bottom of the layer, it's basically all the infrastructure to build and train the large language models or the foundation models we call. It's basically the core of anything you are doing with generative AI. So customers today wants to build their own models. They want freedom and different options to build their own model. Either they want to start from scratch, or they want to actually distill or fine-tune the large language models based on their use cases, based on their industry, based on their domain. And that's what this layer provides. It allows organizations and enterprises to use some of the infrastructure like AWS Trainium, AWS Inferentia, these custom-made chips built by Amazon to train these models. On top of that, if you are not into training your own model or fine-tuning your own model, you can actually use Amazon Bedrock. That's where you heard previously in the last session, might have heard if you're here. That's where you can actually use large language models. You can think of it like almost like a marketplace of large language models. You can use all the industry-leading models like from Anthropic, from Amazon, Cloud Sonnet, Amazon Nova. You can use open source models as well. You can use Llama 3. You can use other open source models as well. So it provides you options. It provides you different capabilities to use these models for your specific use cases. And it all provides programmatically. So you don't have to provision any infrastructure. You don't have to pay for any servers. You basically use it as an API, and you pay for what you use. So that's the whole point of Amazon Bedrock, to make it easy for customers to build and deploy applications using generative AI. And at the very top is the application layer. So application layer is basically where we think about providing out-of-the-box services. These are, by design, very prescriptive. What that means is we choose the right model for the right domain and for right use cases. So that's where Amazon Q Business and Amazon Q Developer comes. Amazon Q is a generative AI assistant capability or a service from AWS. Within that, there are 2 different products. Amazon Q Business, that allows you to actually use your organizational data and ask questions and get answers about that. Amazon Q Developer, that's what it's going to be the focus for this session, which allows you to write code securely and much faster. And you don't have to worry about selecting a specific model like, hey, if I'm writing code, should I select Cloud Sonnet or should I use an open source model? That's already been taken care by Amazon Q Developer for you. So you can focus on writing code securely and faster and let Amazon decide which is the best model for behind the scene. Now, why I'm talking about coding is not just the entire software development, right? The software development is much beyond coding. As you can see here, developers spend 70% plus time running and managing applications and only 30% or less time actually writing code. So it's not just about writing code, it's about the entire software development lifecycle. And that's what Amazon Q Developer focuses on. it helps you to actually manage the entire software development life cycle, SDLC, you might have heard about, and not just the development or the writing code. So, and Amazon Q Developer is basically allows you to do all of that. It allows you to write accurate code. It provides you expert guidance in optimizing your AWS environment. You can also use Amazon Q to actually talk to Amazon services to understand which service you should be using for architecting your application, which services you should be using deploying your application. You can even ask questions about cost associated with your application. So when it comes to software development lifecycle, as you can see here, you're basically exploring and planning first, identifying what's your use case. Then you kind of write code, which is the create section. Then you are actually testing and securing your code. Hopefully, you are writing test cases to make sure that before it gets deployed, you are actually catching those bugs. You are reviewing that code, and then you are deploying that. And then once it's deployed, you want to monitor and understand what's going on. And sometimes in the organizations, you're probably working on transformation of your application as well. And that's the entire software development lifecycle looks like, where most of the time has been spent. And Amazon Q Developer helps you with all of that. It helps you with onboarding new project. So if you are working on a new project, you have been assigned a new task on a new project that you have not been working on, it can help you understand the code faster. You can ask Amazon Q to say, hey, help me understand this code base, and it will provide you a detailed description and understanding of the code. So before you start, you can actually have a buddy who actually helps you understand the code, like a coding buddy. Then when you are creating, it actually allows you to write code faster and securely. It does help you write not just the code in line, but it can actually, you can give it a task, and you can ask it to write the entire functionality. It can create files. It can actually run those files locally. It can actually build your system locally, and it allows you to do much faster than what you probably be able to do yourself with a new code base. And then you can also ask it to write test cases. So let's say you have written a feature, now you want to write test cases. I'm sure a lot of folks enjoy writing test cases, so you can actually ask it to write test cases for you. And it then can help you with review of your code. So you can scan your code and see if there are any issues, if there are any vulnerabilities, or you can also ask it to fix it. And you'll see some of the demo in the later as well, how it allows you to see, identify those issues. And last but not the least, it actually allows you to do wherever you work. So if you are a developer, you're writing using VS Code, you can actually use Amazon Q Developer there. If you are using IntelliJ or any other IDE, it allows you to use Q Developer there. Amazon Q Developer is also available in AWS documentation. So if you go to aws.amazon.com, you will see a Q icon there. You can ask questions there about AWS best practices, AWS architectures. It's also available in AWS console and mobile application. You can integrate with Slack and Microsoft Teams. It also is integrated into GitLab, which is a source control. If you use GitLab in your organizations or personal projects, you can actually use Amazon Q there. So you don't have to break your workflow to use Amazon Q Developer. Q Developer is integrated with your workflow if you want to use it there. So let's look at how it allows you to build faster with Amazon Q. So this is how it looks like in the console, in the VS Code. Actually, it's in the console. So you can actually go to the console and you click Amazon Q on the top, and you can ask question like it showed here. I'll play it one more time. I think it went really quick. So you click that and you ask questions. How do I build a web application in AWS? What are my options? And it gives you an answer of what all different things you can use, what are different services you can use, what are the best practices. It gives you some of the sources as well. So not just creating that answer, but telling you where it is finding those answers so that you can verify yourself and you can actually read more details about it as well. Next, now you want to explore and plan. You can actually ask other things in terms of what are the different services available, or what are the different architectural best practices it has. Now let's say you are ready to write code. Now this specifically shows the demo about VS Code. So you can see here, it is available in VS Code. You can see there is a calculator.java file opened, and there is a calculator.java code on the right-hand side in the IDE. And when you start writing the code, you can actually press tab, and it auto-completes what you want to do. All you have done is just provided a description. You have provided saying function to square a number, and it automatically understands the context of your code. It understands what language you are using. So it understands that you're using Java, and it automatically generates the code for you, along with the comments, inline comments in there. So you can see this is a really small example, but you can see how powerful it can be when you are working on a larger code basis. There are some advanced features with Amazon Q Developer as well. This one shows how you can use Q Developer agent to write and implement entire application features. So it's not just one function or two functions. You can, in the chat window on the left-hand side, you can see that you can ask questions about refactor the code app.python file to remove redundant code. And it can go and figure out what all redundant code you have and actually remove that code for you. It will test it automatically using the test cases you have defined, and it will ensure that your code doesn't break. So there are multiple agents available. You might have heard about agentic workflow some of the previous sessions. That's what Q Developer also allows. It has agents for writing code. It has agent for reviewing code. It has agent for testing code. There are different agents available right in the IDE. And then making sure you are writing the test cases and securing your code. So here you can see that it is providing suggestions in terms of what are some of the fixes that you should be doing to your code. Without even asking, as you are writing code, it automatically provides some of the suggestions. And I don't know if you caught it, but it actually is providing inline and showing you what you should be fixing. And if you think it's the right fix, you can just say apply fix, and it will paste that code right in the IDE for you. So you don't have to break the workflow, go chat in the side, copy the code, and then fix it. It is doing the fixes right in the code itself. Last but not the least, the review and the deploy functionality, which, as you can see here, on the left-hand side, there's a chat window. And what you can do is you can say /review. And what it's going to do is it's going to review your code base. It is asking, what do you want me to review, the entire project or a specific file? And here I selected entire project. And what it is doing, it's reading all the files in your project. It understanding what different files you have, what are the different functions and features you have. And it identifies all the issues categorized as critical, high, medium, low, and informational. And here you can see that there are 4 high vulnerable code that is written here. And you can click each of them and actually see what is that file, and you can understand the details. So this particular one has package vulnerability. So it's using some third-party packages that are vulnerable. So you can click accept fix, and it actually fixes that specific version of your code. The other issues you can see here, for example, you click another one which says AWS API logging disabled, which is not a good practice. You should ensure that logging is enabled by default. And you can read more about that issue. You can see the diff in a sense that what change it is recommending, what is it asking you to add. You accept fix, and it fixes right in the code. So it's as simple as clicking two buttons, detail and accept fix. And even you can see here that you can ask explain if you want. And if it's a complicated one that it doesn't have an immediate fix, it can generate the fix. So what it is doing, it's reading the code, understanding the workspace, and then coming up with a recommendation. It shows what it's going to do, and then you can say accept fix, and it's going to fix your code right in where the issue was. You can see it's detecting all different kind of issues. Some of are very critical, some of are high, and some of are related to security as well. So it allows you to write secure code by detecting the issues, not just by reviewing the code, but actually doing it right in the IDE when you ask, or highlight it automatically when you're writing the code itself. And I think among all of that, I think the most favorite and personal favorite option or capability, I would say, is the QCLI agent. If you have used any of the Q or even other AI-assisted tools, QCLI is one of those which really seems like magical, I would say. You can actually install QCLI today for free, and you can literally start chatting with it. You can say Q chat, and it allows you to just ask simple questions. Some of the questions like I did, and it's like literally vibe coding. I asked, hey, generate a application for a snake game. Like probably many of you have played snake game, and it generated pretty good code in terms of like that particular game. It's even though I used it for a personal project, you can actually do it for any of the projects that you are working on, and it actually can use your IDE along with all the tools that you have available on your machine. So if you have AWS credentials securely stored in your credentials file, it can use that to query AWS account. It can deploy applications for you. You can say, deploy my current application on AWS using my personal profile, and it will use that, call AWS APIs, and it will deploy that for you. So you can do all of that just by asking questions. So last but not the least, I want to touch base one more thing about Amazon Q. So what it basically does is it allows you to increase your productivity. It is an AI-assisted tool that helps you do things much faster at a much larger scale. It definitely makes you more productive. At the same time, it looks after for things that you might actually miss while you are doing the coding. So that it really makes you avoid certain issues that might occur when you are actually not paying attention. It also is available everywhere. So it is available in IDE, like I said. It's available in console. It's integrated with different tools like Slack, Teams. And it helps you to reduce the time about writing code. Amazon Q has other family of Amazon Q capabilities. So there is a service called Amazon Q in Redshift. Redshift is a data analytics service. And there is a Amazon AWS Glue. Glue is a ETL service from AWS you might have heard about. So there is Amazon Q with that, integrated with that as well. So you can actually chat with Amazon Q, AWS Q Glue, and you can write queries as you see here in the console itself. So as I mentioned, Q Developer is just one product among all the products in the Amazon Q family, and Amazon Q is integrated. One of the questions I often get is how Amazon Q comparable to some of the other tools available in the industry. And I think one of the biggest advantage of Amazon Q is it's not just focused on writing code. It's not just one thing. Amazon Q is everywhere, from your IDE to the console, integrated deep into the services, in your mobile application. If you are using mobile AWS console on your phone, it is in the Slack. So you can actually use Amazon Q wherever you are, and also do it with AWS documentation and all of that. So it's a family of integrations, not just one tool to write code. And I think that's its superpower. So with that, if you want to try Q today, you can Google Amazon Q Developer. You can get started for free. You don't have to create don't have to pay to start. You can just download Amazon Q CLI or Amazon Q Developer, and whichever IDE you are using, if you're using IntelliJ, VS Code, whatever, you can start using it. And that's all. Thank you. Any questions?
I mean, it is a platform Q Developer. Can be used in the Linux environment?
Which environment?
Linux.
Linux environment, so like your machine?
Yeah, because our job basically was...
Yeah, you can install Amazon Q CLI, or if you are, let's say if you are using Ubuntu, which operating system are you using?
Huh?
Which operating system are you using?
CentOS OS.
Yeah, so you can use Amazon Q in that as well.
Okay, but the problem is because our company, they're using the AWS chamber for the cloud, and how do we going to ask them to install the Q Developer there?
How do you install Q Developer there?
Because we don't have permission, right? Because it's being controlled by the IT on chamber cloud, right? So do we need to ask them?
So yeah, you need to have permission to install applications on your machine. If you don't have permissions, you have to have somebody who can, maybe you can take your machine to IT and they can install that for you.
Oh, because cloud is just, you log in on your laptop, so it's just log into that cloud and then just access there. How do you go to, we don't see any people. We don't see IT. The IT is supported by somebody there now who...
Oh, so you, in your organization, do you have an IT department?
No, we don't have. Basically, it's just a company, we buy the cloud from them, and then they tell them how to access it. Anything they need to do, you just write a ticket to them and say, hey, run this feature, can you do that? Yes or no? Yeah, so whoever has permissions or rights on your machine to install, need to install that VS Code or QCLI. You do need VS Code to rewrite the code?
Either.
Can you use anything that's kind of like a general editor like GVim or this thing like that to do that? No?
You need to either use some of these code editors, or you can do it through CLI as well. One of those. Terminal. Yeah.
So this Q Developer itself, is it dictated to certain specific language? Can you use something like, because we build test band for the hardware, and we write a lot of code in System Verilog or UVM. So,
which language do you use?
System Verilog. That was a kind of hardware descriptive language. Then to write the test band for testing the actual.
So it does support, if I remember correctly, 20 plus languages. So if you go to Amazon Q website, it shows all the list of supported languages. If your language that you're using is in that list, then you can use Q.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does support 20 plus languages.
Okay. All right, you good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was asking Amazon Q to help me upload my Docker image to ECR, but there was a mistake, and then I think I copy and paste my mistake to Amazon Q, but there was like information about my account ID and in the website related to upload to ECR. Whenever I do this, like copy and paste with my Amazon account ID, am I compromising anything since Amazon Q is also a LLM?
So Amazon Q is not an LLM. Amazon Q is a client service that is using LLM to do that. Think about this way, right? So whether Amazon Q or no Q, you want to deploy your application or Docker image to ECR, right? The right way to do is you will have AWS credentials in AWS credentials file in your local machine securely, like under your profile, like I think home./AWS/credentials, right? So and then Amazon Q is also going to use the same credentials. So you shouldn't be copy and pasting those credentials to Amazon Q and say, hey, use this. You can just tell it that to use your own profile, and it will use your profile to actually upload or interact with your AWS account. It is not sending the credentials to the LLM. It is utilizing your credentials to make calls to the AWS APIs, like how you will do through through CLI. Thank you. I think we have that all this time. I'm happy to take any questions if you want to.